telling time. So today we're going to look at telling time in Spanish. There's 6 categories that I've broken it into, and we'll start with rule number 1. Rule number 1 says that we always have to use ser. We either use es or son. Es is referring to 1 o'clock, and son refers to everything else. For example, es la una means it's 1 o'clock, and son las tres, it's 3 o'clock. So es is for 1, and son is for everything else. So if you're wondering why I have la or las highlighted as well, it's because rule number 2 says that time is feminine. So we always use la or las. So es la or son las, and it's always going to be set up like this. Okay, and rule number 3 says we add y or menos when we try to add or subtract minutes. So, for example, es la una y once, which means it's 11 after 1. Or we also have son las dos y cinco, which means it's 5 after 2. Now, when we start using menos, that's when it gets tricky, because we're not used to using time like this. But here we go. Menos, as you can see, is being used in these examples. I forgot the S on this, sorry. It's supposed to be menos. So these examples say, es la una menos cinco. It's 5 minutes until 1. So you use the time that it's going to be. So you're trying to say it's 1 o'clock, but it's really 12:55. And then it's the same way for son las tres menos siete. So it's 7 minutes until 3. So really it's 2:53. And it's going to be 3 o'clock in 7 minutes. Okay, so with a little practice, it'll come along. Rule number 4 is media, which means half, so 30, and cuatro, which is quarter, which is 15, breaks into 15 minutes. For example, we have es la una y media, which means it's 1:30. And then we have son las cinco y cuatro, so it's 5:15. And then lastly we have menos cuatro, so this one might be a little weird because cuatro is kind of funny because we don't really think of it meaning 15 minutes. Instead we think sometimes it's 25 because it's quarter, but it's just know that it's 15. And then we have menos, which means we're subtracting time. So son las ocho y cuatro, which means it's 7:15. Or, I'm sorry, I wrote down the wrong thing. It does not mean it's 7:15. It means it's 7:45. See, I even still get confused. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now. So it's 7:45, or it's a quarter until 8. Rule number 5 is to be specific. So we use a, la, las, and the time. So la tienda empieza a las 8:30. So that says the store opens at 8:30. And lastly, we have to tell if it's AM or PM. We use de plus la, mañana, tarde, or noche. So, son las 9 de la mañana. It's 9 in the morning. Tarde means afternoon, and noche means night. So hopefully after you look over this a couple times, you'll know how to tell time in Spanish.